Have you watched the new JGlo documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told? It's basically it's on Prime. It's about her relationship with Ben, and she really like, for the most part, I mean, as much as a curated documentary by them for them, funded by her, is going to be. She kind of lets it all hang out. First of all, Ben, if you're watching this, well done, you. He did this thing, their first Christmas together after they got back together after this like 18-year stretch. I live for this. He gave her this black book, and on the front of it, it said, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, Ben and Jen, 2001 to 2021. And you open it, and it's every letter they had ever written to each other, every card, napkins from restaurants, like all of these mementos. And like, how sweet that he saved all of this, or that he found all of this and did this, even if he gathered it or told an assistant to gather it and do it. I just think to have that, like heart and soul put into something is so beautiful. Jen brought it to the recording studio when she was doing this last album as inspiration, and she put it out for all the writers and musicians to look at. And when Ben showed up to the studio one day, she's like, "Babe, look what I brought. It's our book." And he was like, "The book that I made you myself, that was personal just for you and I, you brought here for all these people to see and read and thumb through every day for the last month." And she was like, "Yeah, it's been the most amazing inspiration." And someone's like, "Hey, Ben, we love your book. We call you Ben Affleck." Which is brilliant, by the way. Fucking whoever came up with that, well done. But the reason I love JLo is because I really appreciate when an artist lets us into their life. And I know that's not part of the gig, and they don't have to do that. And you can be super reclusive and private about things. Totally understandable, right? You don't owe us your soul because you're famous. But I will say the artists that I connect to the most are the ones who are like the Taylor Swifts of the world, saying, this person broke my heart and I wrote a song about it. Or the J-Los of the world who are like, yeah, I've been married 4 times. She said in the 3 or 4 times, she says in the documentary, I'm sure everyone on planet Earth is being like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl? Why can't she get it right? And I just love those human moments from our celebrities, because I just think it makes everyone, it's the same thing with the influencers. It's like, I get that this has to be a curated post. I'm not that much of a ding dong. I understand that as a community, we like aesthetically pleasing things, but I love when the influencer comes in being like, just so you know, this is not how my kitchen always looks. Or let me show you, we're filming this, and then let me show you the team of people that have come together to make this happen. I really appreciate that. And so I appreciate it also when our celebrities do it, when they say, yeah, this was a really hard year for me, and I put on weight, and that's why you didn't see me out as much. Or I was going through a bad time in my relationship, and that's why I wasn't talking about it. I just think it helps everyone just take a deep breath and feel, okay, you don't have it all dialed in either. Like, your life isn't perfect. Contrary to what I'm seeing on the cover of this magazine, where you look flawless and perfect, and your abs and the outfit and your skin and the interview, you all look perfect. Your life looks perfect. Okay, your life isn't perfect. And we all know that on the rational level, but we don't. When we see celebrities walking down the red carpet, we're not thinking that. We're not thinking like, oh yeah, there's skeletons in your closet. We're like, oh my God, how do we get abs like that? How do I get my skin to glow like that? So I like the realness in there, mixed in there. It's important to me when I'm curating the celebrities that I love.
Do you have any feelings about putting a book out like that, or not book, a documentary, when he's been married to a very lovely person for much of that span, to say, it's a 20-year love story? Well, where does Jen Garner fit in?
Yeah, no. I did think of, oh God, like, they were both married to other people. And I was thinking when I was watching the documentary, oh, does this kind of downplay the love that she had with them? That's a really tough one. They didn't say anything nasty in the documentary. There was nothing untoward said towards any of their exes, but it's very obvious that, like, yeah, you guys were together. you broke up because of the way they put it was just like the pressure from outside of them to be a certain way, to do things a certain way. It just got to them and they probably started arguing. They didn't know what the fuck, which next step to take. And so they tapped out because they thought this is just too hard and I don't want my whole life to be like this. In those 18 years, I realized like you were the love of my life and we should have worked on it and I never should have walked out on that relationship. And yeah, that does say that Mark Anthony wasn't the love of her life. And that does say that Jen Garner wasn't the love of his life. I also think we got to live in a world where like I can look at someone that I was with and be very clear that like I love you so deeply and you are such an incredible person in my life. And I'm so happy for the run that we've had. I'm so grateful for the time that we spent together. But we've evolved into different people, or maybe maybe I'm not the love of your life either. And that's okay. And I actually think it could open it up for all of us to have a really healthy conversation about relationships, because I think so many people get married because it's a box that you want to tick and you want the house and you want the family and you want companionship. All of that those are really normal things to want, but then you maybe rush into relationships that aren't right for you because you're just so hell bent on getting to the finish line of, yes, I'm married, we've got the house, we have the kid, I did all of that. So now that is tucked away and now I can do other things. And it's like, but if you married the wrong person, you can't. And clearly many folks are marrying the wrong people, because what is the divorce rate now? It's like 55%. I mean, it's over 50%. So clearly as a nation, the majority of people are picking the wrong partner. And I just think maybe if we could be more open about it, where it's like, no, you are amazing. Jen Garner seems like an amazing person. Just maybe wasn't the till death do us part person for Ben. Or by the way, the clock's still running on this game. Maybe him and Jen won't make it. And maybe Jen Garner was the love of his life. I don't know. I don't know these people. But from the outside looking in, I think a lot of people just get married because they want to have that security. And they let that desire override the voice in their head and their gut feeling being like, I know this person is so cute and you laugh a lot with them or whatever it is, but like, they ain't the right person for you. Like, you don't have sexual chemistry, or you don't, you want different things. They want to live in Arizona. You want to live in New York. So you're going to live in Arizona for a little bit thinking you can get them to New York. And it's just like, no, man, it's that Maya Angelou quote. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And I don't know. I think that them maybe being honest about this maybe could help open up the conversation for other people, even though it's hard to hear.
Totally.
Do you think that?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely think that we romanticize romantics.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to have like, oh, this is my true blue, one and only soulmate. But I think that you can have a dozen soulmates.
Totally.
You're evolving all throughout your life. And can you imagine being with the person you were with now when you were 20?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. But I also think that like, like you said, there's so many. I don't think there's one person for everybody, right? I don't think there's one lid for one pot. But I do feel like you could be the greatest person in the world. You could make me laugh so much. We could have the best sexual chemistry in the world. If you're not in alignment with the life that you guys want to build together, it's a house of cards. Because this person, it doesn't matter if they make you laugh. Do they want to have kids? If they don't want to have kids and you want to have kids, that's a problem. Or if you guys don't want to raise the kids the same way. Or if there are just other disparities that you could have within the relationship that maybe you're not looking at because it's the best sex of your life. Because, oh, but they're so cute or they're so sexy. That could blind you to the fact of, right, but this person is a slob. And it is really important for you that like your house is in a certain working order. It's like trying to make a cat a dog. Just get a dog. And I think that so many people do that in relationships. And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm talking about like just opening up the conversation to just talk about like, No, Jen Gardner's like, if I was Ben, no, Jen, she's an amazing person. She's the best mother to our children. But she wanted to live a life that wasn't the kind of life that I wanted to live.
Right. When you watched Jen and Ben, like when they were together the first time around, did you feel like,
I think they're,
yeah, MFEO?
I did. I thought Jen and Ben were MFEO V1, V2. Listen, I am also a fool for love and I really wanted to work out just because there's this video I saw of them. God, if I could find it, we need to splice it into this because it's so good. I feel like they're on the back of a yacht, which, who's not in love on a yacht? But she's kind of just like looking up at him and they're slow dancing and like he like holds her a certain way. And I fucking melted. I rewatched that video a million times, sent it to everybody I know because I just think they are in love with each other. Whether that love can sustain itself is another conversation. But it's also why I'm pulling for them. And you see it in the documentary. Like they have this cute little moment and she's like, oh, giggling and calling him Poppy. And I'm like, he lives for this. Like he just thinks she's the most adorable thing on the planet. And then she gets up and does her shit. And he probably thinks that she's the most fierce, determined, hardworking woman on the planet. Like I see the way when he looks at her, when you see a couple and you see like one partner looking at the other and you're like, oh my God, I see everything so amazing and lovable about them through your eyes, through how you look at them. And I sound so stupid because I don't know these people. I have a real one-way relationship with them. But I stand by the fact that like, I really think that they are deeply in love with each other. I think they have the most banging sexual chemistry. I think they respect each other as artists. I think they respect each other as parents. I think they have a lot going for them, and with the addition of the wisdom that maybe they didn't have the first time around of, okay, don't let all of these societal pressures get to you. It will pass. This is one moment in time because you guys happen to be super famous right now, and not like they're any less famous, but they know how to game the system a little bit more now. And if they just held on, they might have never had to split up, but this is also maybe a part of their story. I think about them way too much, clearly.